What's interesting is December, you said, be cautious about our fourth quarter. What changed?
Well, the only thing I was pointing out back then, which maybe was misunderstood, is that it's a seasonal quarter and the last couple weeks are important. But we just are firing on all cylinders. We just finished our strongest growth year ever, and we finished it strong with a monster Q4 that exceeded a lot of people's expectations.
And you're guiding for postpaid net customers to be adding up to 6 million in 2025. That's a big ramp. Where are those customers coming from?
This is the strongest beginning of year guide on new subscribers we've ever given. And it's really simple. Our consumer business is firing on all cylinders in the top 100 markets, also smaller markets in rural areas. But now our business sector is starting to rise as well. And so you look across all the segments, people are flocking to T-Mobile.
Governments too, New York, one of them that you've added. But I'm interested that the other competitors out there, AT&T, Verizon, they added too. Where are these customers coming from?
Look, this is, I like to think about this, we're the best house in a great neighborhood. I don't need for our competitors to fail in order for us to succeed. We are taking share, but also the market is vibrant and growing, and people are, getting more value out of rate plans. They're buying up our rate card. Our average revenues per customer per month are rising, not because of rising prices, but because they're self-selecting up our rate card. And that allows revenues to rise where nobody else is the loser.
People need more data. They're going to need more data for generative AI. Has that become a choke point for you in some way?
It's going to be a way for us to showcase our differentiation. Both Ookla and OpenSignal have once again said we ran the gamut in terms of network awards, and we have the most capacity by far. And so as the demand for our network on AI-based applications starts to grow, it'll only showcase T-Mobile's differentiation. I think consumers will really be able to see the difference.
Will consumers care about when they're out without any signal and now they're able potentially to tap in to Starlink using T-Mobile?
When we first announced this partnership in 2022, it was the single most covered thing we've ever talked about. And that's saying something, because our Un-carrier moves are big deals. This is the biggest one because it speaks to a universal pain point in this industry. This is a big country, and there are 500,000 square miles that none of the carriers cover. And so now our vision is so simple. If you can see the sky, you're connected.
And you don't have to point your phone at it anymore, which is what you had to do with an Apple previously. Why did you sort of roll it out so secretly? Why did it feel like suddenly we woke up and quietly you could get onto your T-Mobile iPhone device when we wouldn't have thought it already?
Honestly, we've been a little self-conscious in that we announced this a long time ago. And so it's been a couple of years, and we didn't want to keep crowing about something until it was ready. So we made a big deal out of it when we struck the partnership, and we said, look, let's just stay quiet until it's time to hand people this service. About 2 weeks ago, we quietly started letting people into our beta program. We now have thousands of users, and we're about to throw the doors wide open on our beta. It's going to be a big moment, and then commercial service this year.
So it's performing well in beta?
Absolutely. And right now, the launches are happening really rapidly. So there's well over 400 satellites. They're low Earth orbit satellites, so they're very performant. You mentioned some of the differences versus higher level satellites. And people are getting a great experience. Our goal is to start with text messaging so that you can get your texts out regardless of where you are, but it'll very quickly move to picture messaging, MMS, data, and voice.
I hate to try and find any clouds when you're pointing to silver linings throughout, but when you signaled that caution in December, yes, about sort of the cyclicality, but ultimately you've had stellar growth after stellar growth. How much can you keep on ramping, keep on bringing on more consumers? How strong is the consumer sentiment out there?
It's steady and consistent. I think that's what you want from us. One of the things that differentiates us is we set out a set of outlooks, and then we consistently meet or beat them. And what we put out today was a strong guide, but it wasn't expecting much from our business that we haven't done in the past. And so you can rely on the things that we say because we look at the trends underneath it. And the bottom line is we offer a stronger network value proposition, and we offer it at a lower price. And at the end of the day, that's going to cause people across segments to continue choosing T-Mobile.
What is it that investors in particular are needing at this moment to hear from you? I mean, you've got 22 buys, only 9 holds, and only 2 sells. But where are you hearing the questions of caution coming from an investor base right now?
Well, they want to know what our next act is, and so that's a big piece of what we focused on in our Capital Markets Day last fall, is to talk about what comes beyond the next couple of years. And, AI is a big piece of it. We're transforming our business operations to be able to think about how do we serve customers in the era of AI in new ways? And this industry has always treated everybody exactly the same, and it's so analog. You go in and spend a Saturday of your life in one of our retail stores trying to upgrade your family to new phones. We know we can do better, and our T-Life app that's now in the hands of 50 million people can give you an experience of T-Mobile that's different than somebody else in terms of the offers you may see, the prioritization, the upgrades, et cetera. And so it's an exciting moment for us to rethink how we serve customers and give each customer a fantastic journey with T-Mobile.
What could the phone makers be doing better at the moment? Because ultimately we see Apple getting another downgrade, mainly worries about China, but we aren't upgrading our phones as much as we used to. Do you have to capitalize on giving the add-ons in this moment because Samsung and Apple they're not presenting as newer use cases as they used to?
Well, it works for our business model. I mean, I can't speak for them. One thing that's happening is upgrade rates have slowed down, but they're pretty steady. Prices have risen, so the OEMs have made up for it that way. Customers are keeping their phones longer. But what you saw with T-Mobile this time is our upgrade rates did tick up a little bit. We have the lowest upgrade rates in the industry. That's good for our financials. But they started to normalize. So they ticked up. I signaled earlier in the quarter that our iPhone sales were very strong, and they were, and you saw it in our numbers.